Hey, welcome into another edition of Man 101. Well, it's that time of the year again. It's springtime, and I'm embarrassed to say that my fish, well, they're living in a slum right now. I have grown so much algae in my pond. It is time to clean this thing out. So I'm going to take you on a little journey with me and my pond. As you can see, there's my fish living down there. They're kind of hanging out, but look how green and how nasty this is right now. Time to get busy, people. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the filter and essentially backwash this pond. I'll take these nasty filters out. Get a tight seal, latch it back down. I'll connect this hose, and now I'll reverse the flow from the filters down to the bottom of the pond. That black filter right there, you see it? That's to keep the water on the bottom of the pond filtering and circulating through the bottom of the pond. I've got one on this deep end and one over on that end. Hey, welcome into another edition of Man 101, wheelbarrowing. Now, I know what you're asking yourself. Why would I need to know how to wheelbarrow? Well, let me lay this scenario on you. Your mom comes up to you and says, you're gonna start paying rent. And you say, I don't have a job. And she says, well, get a job. So you ask one of your buddies, and what does he say? Wheelbarrowing. Boom, it could happen. So, wheelbarrow 101. First off, point the wheelbarrow the direction you wanna go. Then, if you have a lip, like I do over here getting into the driveway, throw a little dirt pad down there so you don't stub the nose of the wheelbarrow on it and dump your wheelbarrow, all right? These are the first questions the wheelbarrow store is gonna ask you. Man 101, you're welcome. Now, as you can see, we got a bunch of pond water filtering back through, backwashing these bottom filters that circulate the water at the bottom of the pond. This will help me drain a bunch of the water out of the pond. All right, so one of the other things I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stick this sump pump in the bottom of this part of my pond. Here's my theory. I'm gonna drain this pond at this end. That middle section of the pond is kind of high centered. That other area by the water feature is the deeper end of the pond. It goes to about 3.5, almost 4 feet deep. I'm gonna create a little bit of a rock barrier here and kind of hopefully drain this end of the pond first, wash it, clean it, and then transfer the water and transfer the fish over to here. We'll see if it works. All right, about a half an hour in. Water's still draining. You can see our little rock barrier right there. The other end of the pond still fairly full of water for the fish. Hey, welcome into another edition of Man 101. Now I'm outside in the yard working. Why? Because I'm a man. I'm gonna leave this here without commentary. Man 101. Sometimes you're just sitting in your pond washing it out, restacking rocks, and you get a little visitor to the pond. Hi, Mr. Snake. Happy spring to you, buddy. What are you doing over there? So I've restacked the rock, I've cleaned it off, and now I'm taking water from the deep end of the pond and filtering it back into the shallow end of the pond so that I can put my fish back in here and they won't die from chlorinated house water flowing into the pool, because I'll have to put a bunch in, but of course I have water, the dechlorinator, to take care of that. All right, I know these guys are totally stressed out, so I'm gonna try to transfer them as quickly as I can. Okay. All fish successfully moved over to the shallow end. All right, so I've got a little of this right here. That is a dechlorinator and eliminates the ammonia from the tap water and the chlorine from the tap water. So that's really good. And then this micro lift, you gotta have this stuff. It smells like god awful, but it really helps eliminate the algae. So we'll pour this whole bottle in there and about half of that bottle. Listen, for a dude, there's very few things in life that smell better than fresh mulch. Are you kidding? And when life gives you mulch, you know what you do? You make yourself a little mulch recliner, kind of like a dog. You know how they smell something in the grass, they want to roll in it to get that dog perfume going? It's exactly what I feel like right now. Just a nice little roll in the mulch. Hey, sometimes when you're a dude, you've been working all day, you need to take a little mulch rest. That's right. Give yourself 5 and just enjoy the smell. Man 101, you're welcome. Filling this end up now with tap water. I'll get that hose actually out of the pool. One thing that's really important, you don't ever want to let this tap water flow like this right into the pond if you're refilling the pond, because the fish, they have a natural instinct to swim upstream, and they'll get right in to that chlorinated water and they'll just sit there like they're swimming upstream, and they'll actually die while you're putting water in your pond because they'll suck in so much chlorine it'll actually kill them. So always let it trickle over the rocks as it enters your pond, so they're not enticed to try to swim upstream. Okay, so here is the old filters. You can see how filthy dirty they are. There's a couple more in the bucket. Here are the ones that I cleaned from last summer. I'll put those back in the filtration system. And here's the pond. Clean water, treated water, the rock walls restacked underneath there. Tomorrow morning when I come back, this pond will be crystal clear. All right, until that time, Man 101, you're welcome.